Hi there, it's me, Jason Augustus Newcomb, and I thought that I would share something that is related to the course that I'm going to be teaching. I'm not sure if this exact information is going to be in the course because it's not really totally necessary for the practices that we're going to be working on it, but I wanted to demonstrate the power of memory and our ability to actually memorize anything very quickly and easily. So, what last weekend I taught at the Florida Pagan Gathering a class on the art of memory, and for that class I memorized a completely new chunk of information that I've never memorized before, and that is the dates when the zodiac signs changed. In other words, the Aries starts on March 21st and ends on March 20th, I believe. April 20th. No, April 19th. Sorry. And each of the signs has a specific, set of dates that correspond with it. Now, here's the only problem. There are a few different lists out there, so all I'm going to be able to do is give you the list that I particularly found on the internet, and it seemed like it was the most common one in terms of the changes, but there may be some, supposedly from year to year it changes a little bit anyway, but these are sort of the most traditional ones. So I'm gonna demonstrate that I have memorized this piece of information. Now, like I said, I did not have it memorized before I began that class, and it took me about an hour and a half to come up with the sort of mnemonic symbol set that I used to memorize it, and then it took about I'd say a half an hour or 45 minutes for me to memorize all of the numbers. Now, I may screw it up a little bit just because of the context that this is in, but I'm going to do my best not to, just to demonstrate. But no matter how well or poorly I do at this, it still demonstrates the power of the memory because I really had no idea of it. So now the first thing that you need to have memorized in order to memorize something like this is the component pieces. So I already happen to know the order in which the astrological signs proceed one to the other. So I already had that in hand. When I taught the class, most of the class did not know that, nor did they know the seasons in which the signs took place, and they all retained all that information. I think most, with the exception of possibly one or two people, I think that most people walked away knowing the order of the signs and knowing the seasons that they were in, but not necessarily having a hold of all of the the changes of date, because it's quite a lot of information, and they'd already spent a lot of their brain power for the day on memorizing that. Now, if I had another day with them, I'm very certain that I could have them having all of this information in their heads, stored visually. The way that the art of memory works is that you utilize your visualization skills to kind of place things together. Now, in order to show you that I'm not kidding around, that I really did this, I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to show you the room that I'm in right now, which is at my aunt's house, which is a nice quiet place. Some of the classes may be taught from here just because it is a fairly quiet place. There's a mirror over there, you can see. There's nothing in this room other than just furniture and stuff. I don't have a crib sheet or anything like that. And further, I'm also going to put on this very sexy mask here. And this is just a regular sleep mask. Now I can see down, but there's nothing below me, so I don't want you to think that I'm messing around or anything. Now you'll notice me probably struggling a little bit with some of these just because I've memorized it all visually, and I'm going to have to sort of recreate the pictures in my mind. And like I said, I may get one or two things a little bit off. Now, the other thing that I realized when after I'd done this, now the reason I did it the way that I did it is because I wasn't sure that everyone in the room that I was going to be teaching in was going to know the order of the signs, and so I taught both the beginning and the end number. So that's the way it's stored in my head, which overcomplicates it, because really all you really need to know the beginning or the end, and then the other one becomes obvious. But I did it in a more complicated way, so that's just the way that it's going to have to be. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Hopefully this won't take more than, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours for me to get through. No, just kidding. Hopefully just a few minutes. Okay, so all right. So to begin with, we start with Aries. Aries begins on March 21st, and Aries ends on April 19th. Then we move to Taurus. Taurus begins on April 20th, and it ends on May 20th, which means that Gemini begins on May 21st, and it ends on June 20th. Then comes Cancer, which begins on June 21st and ends on July 22nd. Leo, that's my sign, I'm saying all the wrong things. Leo begins on July 23rd and ends on August 22nd. Virgo begins on August 23rd and ends on September 22nd. Libra begins on September 23rd and also ends on October 22nd. Yes. Scorpio begins on October 23rd, but it actually ends on November 20th. Sagittarius begins on November 21st, and it ends on, Sagittarius begins on November 22nd, excuse me, and it ends on December 21st. Capricorn begins on December 22nd, and it ends on January 19th. Aquarius begins on January 20th, and it ends on February 18th. And that leaves us with Pisces that begins on February 19th and ends on March 20th. Ta-da! So, there's a demonstration. And I will put in the comments here all those dates so that you can check them out. And like I said, some of those may not match with everything that you have seen of where the signs begin and end, but those are what I found on the internet, and those are what I memorized in the space of less than 3 hours. And that's a lot of information. That's a lot more information than you think it is, because it's a bunch of numbers that relate to each other in they're close to each other, so it's kind of harder to create differentiated memories for them. So that's why it took me a little longer to make up the mnemonic for it, because they're also similar to each other. I needed to find a way of making them seem less similar. And I may share it in the course, I may not. It's like I said, it's unnecessary and changes a bit from year to year anyway. But that's just a demonstration of how the art of memory works and how we're going to put a huge amount of information into your head. Now we'll only do a little bit each day, but you're gonna have a gigantic memory palace filled with all kinds of stuff, and you'll be able to utilize that memory palace as an occult battery to sort of connect with those energies in a magical way. It's going to be a fabulous course. I sounded a little bit weird there for a second, but it is going to be a fantastic course. You're really gonna enjoy it. And so I hope, if you haven't signed up for it yet, that you will sign up for it. It is only $30 to sign up for the basic course. It's a 60-day course, so that is literally 50 cents a day. There's literally nothing in this world that you can get for 50 cents a day at this point except for my course. So you should probably go ahead and sign up for it. Anyway, and I'll answer. Someone sent me some great questions, and I'm going to answer them either later today or tomorrow. So I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.